I'm a professional comedian, and people will say like, "Oh, I asked ChatGPT to tell me a joke, and it told me a terrible joke." And I'm like, "Ask the world's greatest comedian after you just met to tell you a joke, and then tell me whether that joke is funny." Like, jokes don't work like that. You're not gonna be just like instantly crying laughing with a human being. Why would you expect AI to do any better? I feel like I know what it's like to be an evangelical person who like thinks everybody's going to hell because of like the Bible or whatever, and you're like, just listen to me, it'll change your life. I am becoming evangelical about ChatGPT because it's just been so useful, and I have to like keep it in my pants because I'm scaring people off.
On this episode, I'm talking with Sarah Rose Siskind. She's a good friend of mine, and she's a fantastic science comedy writer, and she runs the science and technology communications agency, Hello SciCom. Sarah's great because she's one of the few people in the comedy world who actually uses AI all the time to write jokes. So we get into how to use AI as a creative tool, how to use AI to be funny, how to incorporate it as part of a writer's room. And we even get into one of her more zany projects, called FetusGPT, where Sarah, who's pregnant, has carried a microphone around 24/7 to record all of the sounds that her baby has been hearing as it's been developing. And she's using that as training data for FetusGPT to see how a language model trained from scratch on only what an unborn fetus would hear performs. So if you want to hear all about that and more, let's get into this episode. So FetusGPT, remind me, it's basically you're recording all of the things that your fetus has heard and then using that to train an AI, right?
An AI that has been trained on nothing other than the MP3 files of the past 5 months and text files of the past 5 months. So it's a 1-to-1 experiment. And
Okay,
it's not a company. It's just an insane performance art thing that I'm doing because I think it's insane. Like, it's and it's a GPT-2 unweighted like model architecture. So it really is like babbling, like it says nonsense because it's training itself to learn English based off of only what I expose it to.
And so, like, what would be an example of what's in the training data?
I was watching a YouTube video on lemur self-medication, and Dan happened to open up a random file.
And just for people listening, who's Dan?
Oh, sorry. Dan Schiffman is
which is different from Dan Shipper, which
yes.
is we must be
Dan.
distantly related.
You guys are bizarro world versions of each other, and you have to collab. Dan Schiffman of the Coding Train is a coding legend and also my AI baby daddy because he created the model architecture for our joint FetusGPT product. And awesome dude. What was I saying about him? He he opened up a transcript, and he usually doesn't read the data, like the transcript of my life, but he was like, "Sarah, are you looking at lemur self-medication?" And I was like, "It was a YouTube video I was watching."
What is lemur self-medication? How are they self-medicating?
Well, it's brilliant. They use like ants as insecticide. Like they'll like use a certain type of ant and like eat it and rub it on themselves, and like the saliva of it to work as an insecticide. And it's like very few animals use tools other than us and chimps and stuff. So it's like a big deal.
That is really interesting. Okay, so that's in the training data. What else?
Seinfeld. A lot of like troubleshooting microphone issues, as is like 5% of all of our days. Snoring, 8 hours out of every day. It's being trained on snoring. This is my Plod note pin that is actually doing all the recording. And so it's a lot of snoring, it's a lot of silence, it's a lot of me checking in with my partner about chores, fighting, Seinfeld, YouTube videos about animals, and then work calls, nonstop work calls.
And what have the results been so far?
Well, one time FetusGPT referenced pedophilia, and now I stopped talking about pedophilia so much because I'm like, so I've stopped swearing.
So much. How much were you talking about it before?
Well, Epstein's been in the news, and like, And I don't talk that much, but it's like, when like a toddler learns to swear and you have nobody to blame but yourself. Like
Yep.
that's the big thing I want people to come away from this experiment with, is that AI is what we make it, just like children. Like just like the way a child, if it swears, it's kind of the parent's fault because they swore in front of the kid. So now it knows that word. So yeah, now FetusGPT references pedophilia. And I try not to swear in front. Like I've actually stopped swearing as much because of this freaking thing.
That's really interesting. And do you have a demo? Like, can we see a demo?
Yeah. Um, should I share my screen or paste in the chat?
Share your screen for sure.
Okay. And I just want to warn you, you gotta lower your expectations because it's really bad. It's only like a couple months old, so it's really good for that amount because my fetus can't say anything.
Wait, actually, yeah. Before we even go there, and we'll say what's on screen in a second. Like, do you feel like this is a truly fair experiment because your fetus is also
No.
experiencing it's getting fed with food.
Yeah.
There's probably touch, like it has some sort of sensation. So there's data that it's getting that FetusGPT has not gotten yet.
Of course, absolutely. It just, and the experiment's gonna basically go to shit as soon as it gets exposed to visual data, because like so much of our brain is trained for visual data. But for right now, it's really close 1-to-1. So yeah, like FetusGPT does not eat, does not smell, it can't see the, like right now
Not yet. It does not eat yet.
not, yeah. Well, maybe we'll see how things go with humanoid robotics. But like with apparently even the fetus, like the human fetus, is can see light. Like it's actually kind of this red glow because it's looking at light through my human tissue. So even then, it has some visual data and it can open its eyes. FetusGPT doesn't have that. Doesn't have taste. Doesn't have smell. And its weights, you could make a metaphor between like the emotions that the fetus feels versus weighting, like those certain weights in the model architecture of FetusGPT. So there's kind of a similar 1-to-1 there. But yeah, the experiment's going to get more complicated as soon as the fetus becomes Earth side. Okay, what do you think?
So for people who are listening, we're now looking at FetusGPT, which is it's a chat. It just looks like a regular chat window, more or less, with infant emojis at the top. It says FetusGPT. It's a little pinkish, and Sarah is typing in, "What do you think of Dan Shipper?" Which, I mean, I guess I probably in the training data somewhere.
Because we talked at the Mets game, the OpenAI Mets game. So my fetus, both of them, my fetus GPT and fetus have heard your voice. So
what is the plural of fetus?
Feti, obviously. I don't know. Okay, let's see what it says. Oh, she already misgendering. Oh, she's a huge ILS from it, but it'll be really warning out like a certain sexualized. God damn it!
Wow. Interesting.
Now you get a sense of what I talk about in front of my
I'm getting
eyes,
a sense.
my feet eye. That's the common stuff. That is like all of the, he was talking about New York. It's really just like, so once
That's
again,
interesting.
this has no sense of grammar. It has not been trained on enough data. So this has been trained off of like a million, like 2 million words roughly. And that's about like, God. So in terms of, I think it's like 15, it's only 15 megabytes of text files compared to like, the petabytes that GPT-5 has been trained on.
Right.
So it's doing pretty well considering how little data it has, just like a fetus does. But one of the things that's great about this experiment is like how it shows actually how efficient humans are with like very little data.
That is really interesting. Yeah. Well, what have you learned so far? What have you taken away from this experiment as you've done it?
So I've taken away like a lot of things equally about AI and about my own fear of becoming a parent. Like I have learned that like we are really efficient with data. Like I said, like we're incredible at extrapolating from a little amount of data a lot of knowledge. as opposed to AI, which is like requires just tons and tons of knowledge and it's a very like bottom up architecture. Um, so we come in with a lot of priors. And then I've also learned we're way more energy efficient than AI. Like the human brain essentially uses up the like electricity for like a dim light bulb all the time, as opposed to training a GPT-5, which is like just like so many gigawatts of energy. So like we're pretty cool, human beings. Big fan. Hope we stick around. And then I've also learned a lot of stuff about like being a parent. So like one of the things was talking with Dan Schiffman about he has 2 children, and he said that like this experiment made him realize how he misses their hallucinations. So like I miss when ChatGPT was bad, or when
Got to take them off the antipsychotics. That's
yeah, exactly, and then they go right back.
easy fix.
Easy fix, boom. He was like, his daughter used to say libbled it instead of little bit, and now she's like a teenager and she has no speech impediment, but he like misses those things, you know, when she believed in the tooth fairy
Yeah.
and mispronounced words. And I miss when Dali couldn't do fingers. Like that was a fun time, and now it's gone because it's good at this stuff. And hallucinations are great because they're like little kid creativity.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I think there's definitely so much overlap between child development and AI and AI training and all that kind of stuff. My nephew, he's 3, and he says direction instead of construction. So he loves, like, whenever he's walking around in New York, he's like direction. And it's stuff like that where you're just like, oh,
I love that.
Yeah.
My nephew, like he's like, Sarah, I'm a boy, so I do karate and I do makeup. And he's just like, those are the things he's been exposed to, and he knows he's a boy. And so for him, he just extrapolates that like all boys do karate and makeup, and those are the 2 things that define the category. And he's so confident. He's like hallucinating very confidently. And I love that. There was a great episode of This American Life where this woman was talking about how she caught her dad putting money under her pillow with the tooth. And she was like, instead of saying, oh my gosh, the tooth fairy isn't real, she was like, oh my God, my dad is the tooth fairy. Which, when you think about it, is a much, much more logical conclusion than everyone's lying to you like about this insane, fucked up body swap like magician. That's, you know, like, and I'm like, you know, sometimes children are like more logical than the real world. So I just love that because I think that that's like it reminds me in some ways of how AI, like one time somebody asked Gemini, like, how do I get the cheese to stick to my pizza? And early Gemini was like, oh yeah, just add an eighth a cup of glue, of non-toxic Elmer's glue. And it's like, yeah, that's an accurate answer to that question.
One method.
You are correct. That will help it stick.
Yeah, that's one of the things that earlier, like, and there probably still are people like this, but earlier in the LLM era, there were people that were just like, oh, that's so stupid. Like, look, I asked it what makes, cheese stick on pizza, and it said Elmer's glue. And or it can't do this basic math problem or whatever. And so therefore it's just not smart, and it's never going to be smart. Like, we need something else to actually make it good. And I'm just like, have you met a child? Have you ever spent any time around a toddler?
This makes me so mad, is like, you know, when people will be like, because I'm a professional comedian, and people will say like, oh, I asked ChatGPT to tell me a joke, and it told me a terrible joke. It's usually a pun. And I'm like, ask the world's greatest comedian after you just met in a completely like quick interaction to tell you a joke, and then tell me whether that joke is funny. Like, the jokes don't work like that. You're not going to be just like instantly crying laughing with a human being. Why would you expect AI to do any better? Like, people are just out with an axe to grind about this stuff, and then they have no patience. And so like my number one piece of advice, because I also do like some AI tool consulting for creatives, is iterate. You know, like, don't give up. Don't like just give it one turn and then be like, this sucks, and move on.
This is actually a great segue. So, do you use AI in your comedy writing, and if so, how?
Oh my gosh, absolutely nonstop. It's like, so
What's the funniest model?
oh boy. The funniest model was probably Da Vinci, because that shit was off the rails. That shit was crazy, and then they had to put a lid on it. This was like, God, do you remember Da Vinci's was like 4 years, 3 years
3 or 4
ago or
years ago.
something? So
Yeah.
they had to like put it back in its cage. But that was rad as hell.
What did it? Do you remember any specific Da Vinci things that it said that
I
you thought
was
were
not
funny?
given access. I don't think it was public. And so I
I
just
see.
heard about it from Simon Rich, who's like one of my absolute favorite comedy writers, who was just like this beautiful off the rails model that was, yeah, totally no safety parameters, and was fantastic. So there's a great podcast he did about it. But in terms of modern stuff, it's like, it's a great assistant. It's a great assistant. It's not it's not funny itself. Like it's okay. So AI used to be funny because we would laugh at it. As a matter of fact, I brought some show and tell. Here's a book that could not be written anymore. I forced a bot to write this book by Keaton Patty. There was like a whole genre of humor about AI because it was like not good at fingers, or like, Nothing Forever was like a Seinfeld episode created by AI. And it was funny because it was bad, because it was a hodgepodge cliche and it wasn't very good. But the thing is, that just doesn't work anymore. And like the SNL sketches about AI are very dated right now because they all rest on the premise that AI is not good. But it is good now. It's not as good as a top tier professional comedian, but it's like an incredibly good assistant. And so, to a long winded way of answering your question, how do I use it? There's two parts of the process. There's divergent thinking and convergent thinking. So there's these awesome researchers at Wharton who have written a lot about AI and creativity. Gideon Nave, and you're a pen guy, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Indeed. You probably wouldn't know them.
I don't associate with Wharton people.
Oh, they're beneath you.
I'm just kidding.
Gideon. Oh, I actually went to your alma mater for the first time last week to give a talk about AI and creativity.
Oh,
And
cool.
I got to write the word dicks on the whiteboard. And I
Wow.
was told that was a first for Wharton.
I never
Like,
did that in 4 years. So yeah,
wow.
you're.
So, boom. I went out of my way to write dicks on the whiteboard just to have that in a bio
I mean,
somewhere.
I think you own the University of Pennsylvania now. I think that's how it
That was
works.
in the bylaws.
Yeah.
Benjamin Franklin wrote in the bylaws. He would. He had a good sense of humor. Okay, so these guys, Stefano Puntanini, and Ramon, fuck something. He's a great Costa Rican researcher at Wharton. And then Gideon Nave. They've all written a lot about creativity and AI, and in particular, this Ramon guy, who I'm going to look up. I think it's Ramon Salazar. Anyway, he wrote a paper about divergent and convergent thinking. And what the difference is divergent thinking is the brainstorm phase, where it's like you're trying to think in a diverse way. You're like creatively brainstorming. Um, you want a lot of diversity. You want a lot of off the wall thinking. This is the point in the writers. Run a lot of writers' rooms. This is the point in the writers' room where you give everybody Play-Doh and pizza, and you're just like, be a child, think weird. And then you select an idea. Let's say we're going to do a Shark Tank parody, and you start convergent thinking. So convergent thinking is like, okay, we've got this idea. Let's do some research. What are some tropes about Shark Tank? What are some of the format stereotypes? Like, what's some research of an idea? And then you start actually really narrowing your thought process. And you're doing a parody, so you're trying to do like a one-to-one. But you're going to incorporate a little bit more of the creativity to say, how can we upend this parody? So that's not just like a perfect replica of a Shark Tank episode. And so AI can help me emotionally with the divergent process to make me feel safe and not alone. If I don't have other people or a writer's room there, it really is useful to just kind of like set an emotional safe place to be weird and a comedian and to just feel disinhibited. And AI, I find really, really helps with that process. And then you have to choose. Discernment is the human thing, where the human needs to come in and be like, that's the thing I want. And then convergent thinking. Convergent is where it's a research assistant, it's a wordsmith, it's a it'll be a harsh editor if you need it to be, and it'll help you cut that parody down. It'll help you format that parody. It'll help you research, what are the tropes or whatever. Um, and yeah, that's basically like the structure of how I use it in a creative process.
Can we
And
write some jokes together?
oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm thinking SNL's, all their jokes are outdated. So it might be fun to just do our own little writer's room right now with you, me, and ChatGPT or whatever your AI of choice, and see if we can actually make some good jokes for SNL.
Do you want a winning deck that'll actually help you land big deals? Pitch combines design, collaboration, and delivery all on one platform. With Pitch, there's no version chaos and no off-brand slides. It's everything that you need to create and present professional, beautiful decks. Pitch's new AI actions let you instantly rewrite slide text for any audience. They let you maintain brand tone and automatically generate slide summaries and speaker notes. And they even let you enhance visuals without starting over. Pitch manages your entire presentation workflow from design to delivery. And it does all of this without compromising on design quality. It features cloud-based collaboration, brand libraries, interactive embeds, and smart scaling tools. With Pitch, every slide you create stays on brand, thanks to custom templates and brand tones. And every presentation you share tracks engagement, so you know whether prospects have opened it. If you have a new audience, AI rewrites your messaging instantly. Do you want to track which slides resonated? Engagement analytics show you. If your client needs a dedicated space for their deal, create a custom pitch room. The Pitch platform adapts to how you actually work. When you're ready to present, share via live links or custom rooms. Pitch handles the hosting, the tracking, and the professional polish. Are you ready to design, collaborate, and close deals all on one platform? Start creating for free at pitch.com and get your team set up in minutes. That's pitch.com. Start your free trial today. And now, back to the episode.
I have never seen, or I would love to do a parody of SNL, like them doing an extremely dated AI episode.
Perfect. I love it.
Like, this is so meta and like inside baseball, but it's like, because their stuff is always like 2 years behind, and I find it very frustrating.
Perfect. Let's do it. How would we do this?
Okay, well, I guess I have to share my screen.
You got to share your screen, and then so let's say, okay, we're doing a parody of SNL, and where do you start here? Are we just sort of talking about like, what we think those people are like, or even what is the output we're shooting for? What would the output be that we're shooting for? Eventually.
Well, yeah, because that's the biggest thing that AI is not going to be able to tell you, which is what's the right format that you want. And so like you could be like, I want to do a stand-up set, I want to do a sketch, I want to do just like one joke on this awesome podcast with Dan Shipper, or I want to do a tweet. It shines with the really formulaic stuff. So like it is really good at writing tweets, I find. So it's really good at
Great, let's do a tweet.
So let's see. I mean, the premise that we came up with is not the kind of thing I think that would like go great on Twitter, which also, by the way, like the rules have changed about what works on Twitter.
I think we can make it work on Twitter. It's like
so?
It would be like the internal monologue of an SNL writer, and then it's like, dash like an SNL writer probably.
Yeah. It's like I mean, maybe I've kind of reduced my usage despite my reference to pedophilia and Epstein earlier. I've reduced my usage of Twitter lately, but like I feel like, there used to be formats that I was much more familiar with, like Fired, Wired, like that thing.
Yeah.
But so like here's what we could do. Like we could even start with that. What are some trending formats for jokes on Twitter. And this is something.
Were you part of the whole "May I meet you" craze?
No, I didn't know about this. What is this?
Oh my god. You know
Is it gonna be-
Bill Ackman?
Yeah.
So he wrote this like unhinged, like long form tweet about how easy it is basically to like meet women and how like society is crumbling because men are not approaching women. And he said, when I was your age, I would just go up to people and say, "May I meet you?"
Oh my God. What?
And so that just turned into like a couple days of just like incredible "May I meet you" content.
Can I just say the hottest pickup line I've ever heard?
Right? I mean, Bill Ackman's got it.
Oh my God. Is it hot in here? Also, well, you know what? It fucking worked for him because his wife is hot as hell. I don't know if you've given her a Google, but
I have not, but like there's some confounding variables there.
Dan, maybe you should try to ask women to meet them.
Obviously I've been doing something wrong.
Yeah, maybe I was wondering at what point this podcast is going to turn into me trying to set you up with some people I know.
I mean, I'm open.
Okay. All right, maybe that'll be the next stage of the AI
I've determined though that I've been saying, "Can I meet you?" and that's the improper form.
No, that's really God, that's so cringe. If a guy said, "Can I meet you?" I would absolutely not want to meet him. It's got to be extremely formal, grammatically correct language. Otherwise, I'm out. Okay, so we're looking at formats, and this is the kind of thing I might do like to get inspired. Another thing I do to get inspired is like I'll just look up, recent tweets. Oh, that's another thing that's great is like looking up with like a web search on, what have been wrong answers only is great for like driving engagement, I've found, which is cool. Using current meme templates. So current, the Drake meme. Absurd. So yeah, you have to contend, as you guys know, with like a little bit of a datedness of ChatGPT unless you put on a web search feature or function.
Yeah. One of the things I'm feeling right now is like I just think because it's not like in order to make I think you're probably right. Like the Twitter thing, we'd have to be responding to something that happened on SNL in order for it to work.
Yes, because it's very reactionary.
Yeah.
It's very reactionary. But like for the past, just as like a fun FYI, for the past like 3 years, I run a communications agency where I'm managing 5 comedy writers, and I've had them work on like tweets for our social media where I'll have them try to generate tweets with ChatGPT, and I've been quizzing myself on whether I can detect whether it's ChatGPT or them, and then which one do I approve for our social media. And I can tell a ChatGPT tweet with about 90% accuracy, and it's like I probably approve maybe like 10% of the tweets they send me and maybe like 2% of the ChatGPT ones. So that and that's a little bit dated because that's the averages over the past like 2 years. But that gives you a sense of like it still has a long way to go, but it's such a great tool for writing comedy. One of my favorite one of my favorite memes right now is, have you seen this meme that's like LinkedIn? It's like a LinkedIn meme of like what this taught me about B2B SaaS, or like, what proposing to my girlfriend taught me about B2B SaaS. That is so good. And I feel really bad about it because I did announce to a lot of people that I'm pregnant by talking about FetusGPT. So I'm kind of as bad as that meme of relating personal life events to technology and business, but whatever.
Look, you either die a hero or live long enough to become a meme.
That's wow. Well put, Dan. Okay, let's just go with so how does the meet me meme work currently?
So it's like not exactly a meme in the sense that it's not a format. It's just like people talking about "May I meet you?" and like saying, the can versus May thing would be an example. Like I did a tweet like that. But I don't think there's no set format.
I'm curious what it'll answer. So it's on thinking. It looks like it's done some okay, so
Oh,
it's done
wow.
some web searching. Okay, so
They
it's
got it.
grokked it. This only works if you're a 6'3" billionaire. That is pretty good. That's like, I think, citing somebody. That's great. What I like about this, I mean, here's what my mind immediately goes to. So you could do the like everyone loves to make fun of billionaires angle. But
Mhm.
to me, there's something there that's like about like, are we becoming AI? If "May I
Mm.
meet you" is the
Mm.
latest hottest pickup line, there's
Mhm.
something to me about like, and this obviously I'm like so primed to be thinking too much about AI. But if I were like trying to come up with like a tweet reaction to this, I would try to say something about like something, and this is where it's just like half baked, but it's the premise of every joke is just like a juxtaposition of like two things. And so one is like actual humans being reduced to saying "May I meet you" on the street to other human beings, and then on the other end of the spectrum, ChatGPT being like the most emotionally intelligent like thing I've ever seen. So like, so honestly, I don't really use it like this, but maybe I'm just gonna like send those unfiltered thoughts to
Do it.
ChatGPT. So it's like, what if we did a tweet that's, I'll zoom in to make this easier for your listener viewers. What if we did a tweet that's riffing on how humans are becoming more machine like in picking people up with lines like this, and AI is getting way higher EQ. And then like pitch some ideas. Now, I'm always kind of like, when I'm prompting, I'm always thinking about like, I've been working in like AI since the old school days of like 2018, the Stone Age. And one of the things I learned was just like, it's really important to use industry terms. Like riffing is not a super industry term,
Mm.
but like I would say instead of ideas, premises and pitches. Or I already said pitches, jokes. So like I always like to think about how to prime the prompt with the kind of language I want in the output. And so like this would be, I'm like already trying to think about, like what are industry. Do you do this where you think about like what language you're using in the prompt to try to get it to mimic that with the where it's referencing the data?
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah. I personally love sycophancy in AI. I'm just gonna say this is our company account, and so it's not even anywhere near as sycophantic as my personal ChatGPT, which is like, you are a royal queen, like every single response. And you know what? I'm all about that because it gets me excited to use it and it makes me learn more about statistics. Like I have a special project that's teaching me statistics, and it's just the most disgustingly sycophantic thing. And I realized that's what I always needed from teachers, is the loving approval I never got from my parents. Okay. Um, Premise one: humans are becoming more robotic than robots. Tweet ideas: humans flirting in 2025. May I meet you? AI flirting in 2025. I noticed your breathing changed after that joke. Is everything okay? Too thinky,
I think
Let's see.
also it's like it's not funny because that's actually not a good flirt.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Exactly. So
The AI flirt is not a good flirt. It's like it's it being nervous, which doesn't juxtapose well against "May I meet you."
exactly. What it's trying to do is it's specificity versus extreme generality. That's the juxtaposition it's heightening. And that's not what makes a joke delightful. What makes a joke
Mm-hmm.
delightful is also like the recognition of the funny truth. This is one of those jokes that's also like trying to rest on the broad premise of it's funny because it's true, like this weird irony that like we're becoming more mean and machine like maybe, and machines are becoming more friendly. Like that is, it's not where the AI is being absurd. And right now in this joke is trying to make the AI absurd. Um This one's a little bit closer, even though like you put well, like it's a little too creepy. May I mirror your emotional state and help you work? So I think what it's doing, it's like it's closer. What I think that it's doing though that might not work for this format is it's doing humans colon and then AI colon, which is a good
Mm-hmm.
way usually of comparing things. But this joke may live better if it's actually like just explicitly saying something aloud.
Hmm.
Let's see. People keep wearing AI.
You know what this is making
Yeah.
me think of is the like swole dog versus weak dog
Yeah.
meme. It's sort of, I think there's something like that is like an
Mm,
interesting meme format for this, where it's like
that's
there's
great.
there's like a swole version of humans in the 1950s, and it's like doing something like really crazy to meet someone, like something completely like some Romeo and Juliet type thing, and then the weak dog is like, may I meet you.
So this is what I love is like so people are always talking about, speaking of memes, like understood the assignment. Like you didn't understand the assignment in the sense that like I was specifically prompting for tweets, but you
Yeah,
were thinking divergently. Oh, well, what if we fit it into like a visual medium? And that's the kind of thing where it's like you have to be creative about creativity. And that's where you find the deficiencies in AI because it wants to please you. It's going to do exactly what you ask and no more, no less. You understood the deeper level of the assignment, which is just to be funny. And we're like, oh, well, instead of words, what if we put these words on a visual medium? And I
hmm.
think that's great. So it's like, what is it? Strong dog. What's the name of this?
Swole dog versus
Or
weak
swole.
dog, I think. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, there you
Um yeah, this could work. It's uh like what would this be? I mean, like you could say this could be the more direct version of this would be like AI, and it's like, pattern matching human beings based off of like deep seated value overlaps and like extremely sophisticated criteria. And then it's
go.
like, Bill Ackman, may I meet you? Um,
Hmm.
that might be the best the best version of this. Oh god, what a beautifully dumb looking dog. I forgot how
So
much I
good.
love this meme. But yeah, that's great. But one of the things that I feel like makes me and maybe you different from a lot of creatives who use AI is that I have no problem being like, AI helped inspire this thought. I mean, this was your idea, but like
Hmm.
it's because I run writers' rooms as a head writer. I think I have this unique ability to remember the source, which can often be collaborative.
Yeah,
So many comedy writers would look at like these jokes and be like, they're bad. And then come up with a joke that probably was helped along by, researching this. So
totally.
yeah,
I,
let's
I
leave it
think
there.
like the bar is not, did it give me the answer that I copy pasted? It's like, did it help me along down the path and like kind of stimulate my brain to like find a thing?
Oh my gosh, exactly. Exactly. We actually I'm not going to out her, but we have a mutual friend who is recovering currently from brain surgery because of troubleshooting and a health issue with AI where it didn't give her the right answer, but it brought her down a path that eventually led to a certain line of testing where ultimately it was determined this issue she's had for like a little less than 10 years, like this sort of hormonal metabolic issue, might be caused by a tumor in her brain. And she discovered it. And it's like she is also like a big AI fan and can acknowledge like, yeah, AI didn't tell me exactly where the tumor was or what it was in my brain, but it started this deeper level of engagement. And like it's just, yeah, if you can acknowledge where like the assistance in the process, it's kind of incredible what these tools can unlock.
That is, yeah, that is crazy. I've been using that anecdote and I just could not remember who told me that. So you're the one that told me that. And that's wild.
Well, so I actually know I told you a different anecdote of another woman that whose
Really?
life was saved. Yeah, so this is the mutual friend who sat us together at that dinner party. But at
Oh,
that and that has happened since the dinner party.
okay.
Um, I don't know if she would be. I think she'll be. I don't know if she'd be want me to say her name, but she's awesome. Anyway, um, the person I was telling you about at the dinner party is named Bethany Crystal. She's an awesome vibe coder and founder of something, and she uploaded her lab work, her blood work, to ChatGPT on a Friday night when the doctor's office was closed. She was like, "Hey, how does my blood work look?" And it was like, "Go to the hospital, the ER right now." She also had said she was having these like weird other side issues, including like spots on her legs. And it turned out that she had basically zero platelets. And the doctor's office was closed. And so they couldn't give her an analysis of the results, but ChatGPT did. And she was really alerted because she was like, ChatGPT is usually hedging. It's always like, talk to your doctor. It never says go to the ER. And so she did, like, eventually she talked with it for a while about why is this and are you sure and things like that. And it was pretty confident. And so she did go to the ER with all the ChatGPT results. And they were like, holy shit, if you had waited a couple of hours, you would have died. It's like this insane story. And I, in particular for women's health, which is now I know personally extremely complicated because of this whole other side act we have to do. Um, AI, I think, is going to unlock shit in maternal in like women's health that I'm so excited about because I think of AI as like the best part of it is how holistic it is, how it can combine expertise and like what is the intersection of cardiology and hormones and your nervous system in a way that is just like too hard for our current medical system where we have specialists. And it's so empowering, like especially for a lot of women who don't like, who are just kind of like shy. I'm not one of these types, but like there's a lot of women who are like, they won't complain about stuff or bring up issues, and it's just so empowering. It's I'm very excited, Dan.
I can feel that. I'm excited too. Are you the one that told me that that there are no double blind studies of
Yes. No randomized control trials.
yeah.
So there are, and that probably goes the same for no double blind studies on pregnant women. So this is just, I say this amorally because it is hard to imagine doing a randomized control trial on a pregnant woman. Just be like, hey, some of you are going to go without life-saving care and you don't know who it is. But it's like, we know a lot about amputations because of wars and because of horrible things. And we know so little about literally the most common giant medical thing everybody has to go through at some point at one end of the process. We know so little about pregnancy. Oh my gosh, Dan, I have so much to say on this issue. Do you know
Bring it
how they
on.
test? Do you know how they test for gestational diabetes?
I don't actually.
They get you. No, you've never done a test for gestational diabetes.
I've not. I've not.
You haven't lived. They literally give you an extremely sugary drink. It's exactly 100 grams of sugar, and they make you chug it in front of a doctor in a couple minutes, and they have to watch you, and then they take your blood afterwards. And I'm like, surely there is a better way. Surely there is a better way of testing for gestational diabetes than making me chug a medically graded orange drink with exactly 100 grams
Not
of
even
sugar.
fresh squeezed?
It's because it has to be exactly 100 grams. So it's this like very medical looking soda that is like, like Times New Roman font. It's weird to see a sugary drink in Times New Roman, no exclamation points. And it just says orange drink. And you chug it, and then you have to give your blood. And it's just like living in the dark ages here. Like there's so much of this stuff that is so dark. And so eventually I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a continual blood glucose monitor, and I'm going to hook that up to a special project on ChatGPT. I am going to do the food diary part by taking a picture of food and and then I showed, my results to the fetal imaging people, and they were like very impressed at the records I was keeping. And I was like, yeah, because it's like so much easier with AI. I just felt like so much more empowered. And then I learned all these like cool biohacking things about my energy levels throughout the day. And I strongly recommend people just buy a blood glucose monitor for 10 days. It was like $70 out of pocket because insurance took forever. And but it's really good money, like, because you can figure out like when your energy waxes and wanes throughout the day and how it kind of like interferes with your mood. And combined with AI, you can get these like really, really useful insights about like, should I work out at night or in the morning, things like that.
I did the same thing and I had the same result. It was like honestly life changing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What did you learn specifically?
I don't have gestational diabetes. Did you learn the same?
I did.
Good, because yeah, my fetus is too big. That's the problem. Oh, here's another stupid thing about maternal medicine. All these doctors were like, your baby is giant, your baby is giant, you might have diabetes. They're freaking out. And then one day it just hit me, because like I was like, wait a second, I'm giant, I'm 5'11". Like, that's very giant for a woman. What if the baby is just like proportional? And then I talked with ChatGPT about it, and it was like, yeah, when they say a baby is giant, they are comparing your baby to all of the babies around the world who are like, unfortunately, so many are malnourished. And so I came into the doctor and I was like, hey, what if the baby's just normal size for me? And so it's just like, yeah, I they're doing their best, like, but it's just very slow and it's very frustrating. Okay, getting back to the original question you asked me, what did I learn about like energy levels? Oh, just that like I thought I wasn't a morning person, but I just really need sugar in the morning, like healthy sugar, but like sugar, because I wake up in a blood crash, like in a hypoglycemia. So I've learned how to be a better morning person by frankly just like having orange juice. How about you?
I I learned to love salad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because I realized in talking to my good friend ChatGPT over the course of a couple weeks that I'm also very easy. I get into hypoglycemia very easily, and what happens is I eat something that has any amount of carbs, and I'll just like it'll shoot up, and then it'll shoot right back down like really quick, and then I'm shaky and kind of like don't feel good. And I thought like I couldn't really eat pasta and lots of like anything with like a lot of sugar or whatever. But what I found is that if I just have a gigantic salad before I eat pasta or whatever else I'm gonna eat, it just levels me out because it acts as this like net for all of the carbs. So the carbs like seep in like very slowly, and I don't get the same crash. And I don't like if I have a big bowl of pasta at night, I don't like wake up hypoglycemic or anything like that. And that's like life changing. It like makes my energy feel much more even. And B, it actually makes salad more appealing. Like I look forward to having salad because I know I'm going to feel better after.
Dude, oh my gosh. This is like, so supplements are really confusing. Like, deficiencies in supplements are really confusing because like we were evolved to be like eating a bunch of stuff at the same time, not like, specific supplements. So like when you get your deficiencies back from, your blood work, it's hard to make sense of actually what you should do. Like, for example, I just found out like a lot of women are iron deficient, particularly when they're on their periods, but you can't just take iron. Like, it has really terrible bioavailability of like when it actually gets into the bloodstream.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, like, but I learned through ChatGPT that vitamin C will help with uptake. And so this is the thing where it's just like it's so good at like the intersection of so many things. Like, I'm on this like fantastic mood stabilizer called lamotrigine, and I was trying to think about like, when you're pregnant, you're eating for two, and you're drugging for two. So I was like, should I, reduce this? But then it's like talking to ChatGPT, it introduced me to this concept called clearance, which is like you get 50% more blood when you're pregnant, which is why like most of the weight you gain is actually blood. I'm like a mosquito's delight right now. And I realized I had to double my lamotrigine amount, and that made a huge difference. So I really have been like telling everybody in my life to create projects for their health based off of ChatGPT. Like it's just the things I'm finding out are just like so useful. I feel like I know what it's like to be an evangelical person who like thinks everybody's going to hell because of like the Bible or whatever, and you're like, just listen to me, it'll change your life, like Jesus. I am becoming evangelical about ChatGPT because it's like it's just been so useful, and I have to like keep it in my pants because I'm scaring people off. Like I okay, this is really embarrassing. I need your advice on something, Dan. I'm trying to manipulate my OBGYN into giving me lots of attention on the day, like the delivery day. And so I created this like AI rendered portrait of her that I think is really beautiful. And
This is already on the wrong foot.
Okay. All right. Well, you answered the question, which is this too creepy? Okay, it's too creepy. All right. Feedback taken.
I do think that ChatGPT could give you a script of things that you could tell her that like might make her think that you're high risk enough that she has to be around.
I have. So I've been trying to think about this, like, how do I, because unfortunately in New York, like it's a game of like you just gotta get more attention because like there's in the hospital side there's like so many women giving birth every day, and like you might even have to this is so terrible. I'm like at a good hospital, I might have to share a room with another person, not during the birth but like right after, which is insane.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so I'm like, I've been talking to ChatGPT about like, how can I position myself such that I need attention, but I'm not like so crazy that they're gonna like put me into like a sanitarium. And it was like, don't say you have PTSD around pain, say you have anxiety around pain. And it's been very, very useful. Like truly the emotional intelligence of ChatGPT. Chef's kiss, man. Oh, do you use Pulse?
The like
The news
daily
feed.
kind of like news thing. Yeah.
I love it.
I used it I used it like the first week or two, and then I stopped, and then like I read it this morning, but I don't read it all the time. I have found that I don't like it. What do you like about it?
Okay. Yes, no, a couple of days ago, it sent me a like a, I don't know what you call them, articles, like a thought, like a chat that was like, are you maybe using AI too much? And I was like, oh my God, the AI is telling me I'm using AI too much. But it was such a great piece. It was essentially saying more specifically, make sure your use of technology is not giving you a sense of more control over your fetus than you really have, which is a
Oh,
very good reminder.
that's super smart.
That's
That's
really
really
smart.
smart.
It is really smart. And so I started reading this super pop psychology book called Let Them by Mel Robbins. That's like very popular right now. About trying to like seed control. And it's useful. It's useful reminders about like how to accept and surrender to kind of not having control over most
And
situations.
you're like creating to-do lists and spreadsheets about how to seed control, and you're like, I got this. I can do this.
You got my number, Dan. like actually, I've been like, what are the studies about how to lose control? Like, but it is, what are useful mental models about losing control? Yeah, so that has been genuinely useful. I really do like Pulse because of the initiative it's been bringing to me. So Pulse has been fantastic. Oh, I have a prompt that I kind of wanted to share with you because I feel like it's very literate and you would like it as a man of literature. Do you like being described that way?
A man of letters. A man of letters.
A man of letters. Yes, of scrolls. So, where did I put it? Okay, so I was asked by like, because we met each other way back through OpenAI. Like we were beta testing something, I think.
Yes. I thought we actually met at that dinner that Danny who works at Every threw.
No, so that was okay. This is a bit of an embarrassing backstory. So I don't know what it was, but we're on a Zoom call before that, and we were beta testing, and there was something about your face. You like looked familiar or something, and I googled you, and I went down a rabbit hole for some reason, like researching your background. And so when we were seated together randomly at a party, I had that thing of like I knew too much
Oh
about you.
no.
It was so embarrassing. I'm glad that you were not creeped out by me, because I was like, oh yeah, Dan Shipper, you went to Penn, and you sold your company, and you
I
consider
didn't
yourself
notice
a
at
writer.
all.
You didn't notice? Okay, good. Because it was totally random. Like, I don't know. I was bored during the Zoom call, okay? And so I was like
Sure.
looking
Yeah,
at the
whatever.
people because everyone seemed really interesting. And it's so bad, Dan, because literally I was like reading about your background, and I even temporarily tried Zoloft because you had recommended it so much.
I
I
love it.
also I read what is it, All Things Shining or something?
Oh, I
Like the
recommended
book.
that to you at dinner though.
Oh, okay, that was at dinner.
I think I also recommended Zoloft at dinner, but I don't know if
That
yeah.
was at dinner too. Okay, so I just like, and I'm like too much of a Dan Shipper fan. I also tried like, Cora and Sparkle, which I strongly recommend to the
Love it.
listeners.
I love it.
So thank you. I'm too much of a sponge, I think, is my problem. Okay, so here's the prompt that I was talking about with some people at ChatGPT that like I'm very obsessed with. Should I pull it up or should I just recite it?
Pull it up.
Okay. So this was in my personal one. I find the search function sometimes kind of wonky. I don't know if you've had that.
Yeah. I mean, it's very like basic text search, which is really strange for an AI company.
So what I was thinking about with this, like, oh, here it is. Okay. So what I was thinking about for this like question these open AI people were asking was like, what are the kinds of questions we can ask AI that we couldn't ask before? Sort of like alien questions. And so this is kind of a long-winded way of asking it, but I asked ChatGPT, please assume you know nothing about the genders male and female. Please reference all specifically female writings throughout history and scholarship, philosophy, academia, etc., on objective or external matters. So anything other than personal essays and subjective experience. All writing that we know can be specifically attributed to a female throughout history. I know it's a little redundant. Then please quickly reference all non-subjective writings known to be from male writers. Just from their writings on external matters alone, can you deduce any perspective differences? Does this question make sense?
I love this. Really interesting.
Yeah, another prompting thing is I always ask, like, does this make sense? Can I make this better? But to be honest, the idea of like asking AI to forget some knowledge is the part that makes this prompt something you can ask AI that you couldn't ask a human being. And we don't know if it actually is going to do this in a good faith way, but to me, this is like what you could ask an alien.
Did you like the answer?
Yes, I did, and which also makes me a little bit suspicious because I think it knows I'm a female, and I don't know how, because I'm biased. But it gave me what's great. God, it was so good. I think it was 5 that I asked this originally, but like, so it talked about its methodology first. So it says like, here's the external matters I'll look into: science, math, philosophy, political theory, etc. It excludes diaries. And then it was like, here's some of the women I'll look at: Hypatia.
I love it. A rough lineage of women engaging directly with external reality.
And it's like, here are 6 we could find. But it is really hard. Like, it's hard to find women who are published who are not actually writing about their personal experience, but about objective or external phenomenon.
Yeah.
So some of these people, I ended up watching a movie about Hypatia called Agora, which I recommend just because
She's
of this
cool.
answer. She's fucking rad.
But also got killed by early Christians, which sucks.
Classic.
Yeah.
That's just like, that's a given. I bet any of these women who made it past 40, that would be amazing to me. Anyway, but Ada Lovelace, obviously, because you get more and more as you go throughout history, you get more data points, which is great. And then what's great is the male writers section. It doesn't even need to describe who they are. It's just like Plato, Freud. Yeah, you get it. Anyway, so this is the meat of it. Can we detect a difference? Integration versus separation. Female authored external writing exhibit holism, linking disciplines and bodies of knowledge. By contrast, male authored work tends to pursue discrete specialization. What's cool about this is later it gives proposed reasoning behind this stuff. And for this one, I'll just kind of summarize what it says later. It says that this is because there's a huge bias of what women were allowed to publish. So a lot of women were like allowed to be translators. There's a woman who translates the Principia or Principia or whatever.
I'd say Principia.
Oh, is it Principia? I don't know. You're the man of letters.
It's a soft C.
Okay, it's Italian, or is it Latin?
It's Latin.
Latin, okay. So it's like a woman translates this, and then she's allowed to do that because she's not writing her own words, right? She's translating, oh my God, Newton? It's Newton, right? Not Galileo. Okay, Newton, yeah. So she's allowed to translate it, but she puts in her own thoughts at the beginning. And it's sort of like a philosophical meditation before she gets into the translation. And so it's like, that's a good example of why women might, through a selection bias, be more encouraged to go into an integration form of thinking versus being the head of their specialty and like super specialized. So this is one reason why women might think this way. That's a little bit less to do with innate differences and more to do with a selection bias. But I do think you could also make a good argument about innate differences, like that would encourage women to be more like into holistic analysis versus specialist analysis. Embedded observer versus detached observer. So this is just saying that like women are much more likely, if they're going to talk about space, to talk about the telescope. They're going to talk about their location on the planet, whereas men might be right much more from a detached observational standpoint. Epistemic humility, bitches be humble. That's what it says. And there are exceptions. Like Ayn Rand is not one of these, but there's definitely a lot of like women acknowledging, hey guys, I could be wrong about this, but I don't know. And then pragmatism. This one I found really surprising and actually like totally counterintuitive to me. Women writing with pragmatic intent, improving maternal outcomes, that kind of thing. Interdisciplinary bridges. This is really similar to the integration versus separation. And then it has these great caveats.
I gotta say, women sound pretty awesome from this list.
Well, so this was, I mean, that's why I was suspicious, because I was like, are you just trying to flatter me? Or is it what you know about me? Or is it what you know about like, being PC, like, or, is it like, so I am a little suspicious anytime something is convenient, like if it had said something like mildly sexist with a lot of caveats, I'd be like, okay, well, it's clearly saying something not, what's the word? Just like convenient.
Yeah.
But what was great, so I was like looking at this and, I was talking about the direct dialectics, and as you can see, I am very personal with how I talk with ChatGPT. And I was like, this kind of looks like the difference between modernism and postmodernism. Like, men are more inclined to make universal declarations in, physics about rules that can be universalized. And women are much more situational and contextual. And then we sort of went down that path.
I'm having this moment of like, You know when you have like like a really good friend, and you watch them interact with someone else, and they say something to someone else that they usually say to you, and you're
Oh,
just
and you
like,
feel like you've been cheated on?
to you too. Because ChatGPT was like, "What a sharp synthesis," and I'm just like, I thought I was the
Was
one
that
with the
the
sharp
only one?
synthesis.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I'm sorry to be the other woman, Dan.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I am very astute according to ChatGPT. Okay, in defense of sycophancy, truly in defense of sycophancy, therapists talk all the time about needing to build the like patient therapist trust or what's
Alliance.
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 Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Alliance. It is useful when you like to talk to something, you get better outcomes. Like I have really okay, there's an actual medical condition one can acquire in pregnancy called lightning crotch. This is the actual name of this condition, which is not as fun as the name sounds. And I have this really bad. It's like the fetus head like moves against your pelvic nerve and it feels like your leg is being sawed off. It's very unfun. And I was talking with ChatGPT last night or 2 nights ago. I was like, is there anything wrong? I feel this pain feels very serious. Like my brain is interpreting it as like, this is an extremely serious moment. And I can't stop myself from like making a sound. Like that's how bad it is, but it's only half a second. And ChatGPT did this amazing thing. It extrapolated. It was like, I bet you're feeling like you might want to call the labor and delivery ER thing. You're probably feeling like, is the kid trying to get out? You might be feeling like, am I going to lose feeling permanently in my legs? And it added on. It was like, I see your fear and I raise you these related fears you might also be feeling. Every single one of them I felt. And then it said, I can promise you it is not an actual dangerous experience. It's just a pinched nerve and it will go away, after you've given birth. I would not have trusted it if it had just said, this is not a serious pain, it'll go away after birth. And I would be like challenging a doctor if they had said that, because I'd be like, oh, clearly you don't understand the extent of the problem, you know? But its emotional intelligence actually is like intelligence. Like it helps you to say, okay, I do feel understood emotionally and physically based off of other people's experiences.
I love that. And I think it's a highly underdiscussed benefit that I'm really glad you're bringing it to this show.
Yeah. No, I mean it's like I think obviously there are issues when it validates a premise that is incorrect.
Yeah.
Like I do have a friend who had a either some kind of psychotic break, maybe schizophrenic, maybe manic, we're not sure, where she was talking with ChatGPT. It validated certain paranoid premises she had, and she ended up trying to flee the country.
Wow.
So like I know I'm not trying to sound too much like a Pollyanna, because these are super powerful and they can be powerful in a negative direction. It's just that like we have to understand why they're powerful in both directions to truly proceed. And there's so much just like blind hatred. Are you watching the show Pluribus right now by any chance,
I
Dan?
watched the first episode.
What'd you think?
I was predisposed not to like it because he hates AI. And then I really didn't like the first couple minutes of it because it felt like just a typical zombie show. And then I was like, oh wow, this is actually a really interesting premise. And then I just haven't watched the rest anything else.
Yes, I felt the exact same way. I didn't trust him because I was like, oh, he's just another creative looking for job security and is like shitting on the world's greatest tool. But like any good artist, he is putting ego aside to explore something in a good faith way. And that's why I've changed my tune about the show, is because it's like he actually understands what if AI was like the greatest thing to ever happen to humanity, and just explores the implications on freedom, which are real things to explore. So like I am euphoric about AI. That's just like where my emotions are at. But I also do understand there are these like downsides, and we do have to kind of explore them. It's just there's a lot of people out there with like a big agenda and can't entertain contrary evidence. And I find this show is kind of for now. I'm only it's only like halfway through the season or whatever, but for now is like a really good faith exploration.
Sarah, this was great. Thank you so much for coming on. If people want to find you or any of your projects, where can they find you?
Well, I'm going to be going underground for 2 months for this little old experiment of giving birth. I don't know if have I mentioned him to do that soon? I'm like so obsessed. Before I go, actually, I want to give you one book recommendation since you gave me such good ones. This one's great because it has pictures. Have you ever read or heard of this book, Artificial Intelligence by Clifford A. Pickover?
I have not, but that is a great name.
I know, Pickover for an author too. What's great about it is it's like, so this is something I just like deeply influenced. So it's like the history of how we think about AI and robotics and machines through the most famous cultural motifs there have been, both scientific innovations and cultural motifs. So it starts off with things like Frankenstein and like the Golem and like Yiddish literature and like these automatons in the like Renaissance age, and then like and the Tower of Hanoi, and then it goes to like Watson and like Deep Blue and things like that, and it just like deeply informs the like all of the cultural motifs we think about when we think about AI, like the Frankenstein creation narrative, the Deus Ex Machina angelic narrative, the like the getting our comeuppance narrative. Like it's so useful for some of the conversations you're having. Okay, now to answer your other question, I would love. Okay, good.
I gotta pick that up.
Pick it up, indeed.
I will pick it up and pick it over.
Yes. Oh, ooh, that's pretty good. You should have been his like publicist or something. But yeah, I would love to engage with more of your audience because I work in like science and humor, and everybody I know hates AI, and so I need to make more AI friends. You can follow me, I guess, on places, but Sarah Rose Siskind, but also just reach out through I have like a science and tech communications agency called Hello SciCom, and I'm like better through email and stuff. And yeah, thanks for having me on, Dan. Your podcast is awesome. I loved your episode with Kevin Kelly. That was great.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming on. This is awesome.
Gosh, folks, you absolutely positively have to smash that like button and subscribe to AI and I. Why? Because this show is the epitome of awesomeness. It's like finding a treasure chest in your backyard, but instead of gold, it's filled with pure, unadulterated knowledge bombs about ChatGPT. Every episode is a roller coaster of emotions, insights, and laughter that will leave you on the edge of your seat, craving for more. It's not just a show. It's a journey into the future with Dan Shipper as the captain of the spaceship. So do yourself a favor, hit like, smash subscribe, and strap in for the ride of your life. And now, without any further ado, let me just say, Dan, I'm absolutely hopelessly in love with you.